Hi, this is Tracy, and I am continuing my journey on understanding the roots of my life and figuring out that I have been in a narcissistic and abusive relationship more than once, and I am believing now and learning for the first time in my whole life that I think my mother was definitely a narcissist, and I'm realizing where these patterns are coming from, and the more I learn, the more I want to share what I've learned, because no one ever told me this. So I've just found this new organization. It's actually not new. It's new that I would look it up. It is the Safe House for Progressive Alliance for Nonviolence. And this is a state-run program. You can call social services. You could probably call the police department or town hall, and they would have classes or services like this. This particular agency provides outreach to the community with counseling. They provide legal assistance. They provide classes, and there's a lot that they can do for you. As well as if you're in a very violent place and you have to get out, they've got shelters and things like that that you can take your family to if you need to. So, look at that for sure if you're in a situation, and even if you're not ready to go right now, understand that this is out there. And if something has happened in your relationship that is not quite right, then start to take this action and just know that it's out there and know where to turn if it gets worse. So I'm going to read some information that I've got out of their brochure that they gave me, and it shocked me when I was reading it. A common crime, domestic violence. 50% of all couples experience at least one violent incident. 50%. 1 in 5 female high school students reports being physically or sexually abused by a dating partner. 1 in 5. 1 in 4 couples, violence is a common occurrence. 1 in 4. Battering is the most common cause of injury to women, more frequent than car accidents, muggings, and rapes. It's nice. It's more likely that a woman will be killed by her spouse than a police officer will be killed in the line of duty. 20% of all murders in the country are committed by family, where 13% are committed by intimate partners. 21% of all women who are in the hospital emergency room are battered. 6 million American women are beaten each day by their partners. There are 1,200 battered women's shelters in the U.S. and 3,600 animal shelters. So what does that say about the women? And most of these statistics are about women being battered. And I know that there are certainly men that have been in abusive relationships as well, but it's interesting that this state-run organization, Safe House, is primarily talking on the women end of this. So let's go on. There's another section I want to read you, and this is a really, really good quote. I'm going to make like a graphic. I'll put it right here. Okay. That was a good graphic, right? Okay, so the barriers for leaving. It says the question, why do victims stay in an abusive relationship? This shifts the responsibility for the abuse from the abuser to the victim. A better question is, why doesn't the perpetrator stop using violence? It is only as useful to understand the barriers between the two when considering leaving. Increase risk of danger. They fear that their partner will follow them and maybe kill them if they leave. These are actually based on threats by the abuser. Economic dependence. Having to face the difficulties and trying to financially support themselves and their children. Parenting. Sometimes they need a partner to help parent their children. Fear that they can't cope at home with the children by themselves. That keeps people in a relationship. Religion or extended family. This is pressure to keep the family together. Fear of being alone. I guess we all have that. and we get really comfortable where we are. Pity. A partner convinces them to feel sorry for him or her. I know what that's like. Fear. Partner will commit suicide. That's number 7. But there's so many more, and I want to share this with you, okay? I have highlighted the ones that apply to me, and that's only one sheet. There's plenty that apply to me. Denial and minimization. Believing that it is not really that bad or that other people have it worse. That's true. Love. Often the partner is quite loving and adorable when they're not being abusive. Duty. Number 10. Feeling bound by marriage and a relationship commitment. There are people that do marry for better or worse, sicker or poorer, all that stuff, and they are duty bound. It doesn't necessarily have to be that way. If someone's abusive, you should get out. That's your duty to you, above and beyond a promise of something that you promised to someone who probably isn't that person anymore. Guilt. Number 11. They believe that their partner and their significant other are quick to agree that their problems are the victim's fault. Yes, perpetrators or narcissists are very easily guilting someone else into thinking that they did something wrong. Responsibility. It's up to her to work things out and save the relationship. Another female association. Shame and humiliation. This is a big one. If I had 2 highlighters, I probably would have definitely done this. I don't want anyone to know. The stigma of being battered keeps many individuals silent about abuse experienced in a relationship. Isolation. The abuser isolates the victim from friends or family who may give her support. My 2ex moved me 2,000 miles away from where I have only ever lived in the East Coast. Here's one. Security. Fear of being alone in the world. Belief that in the happily ever after fairy tale. I so have the happy ever after fairy tale thing. I don't think it happens. Just saying. Identity. Socialized to feel that they need a partner, even an abusive one, in order to be complete. Number 17. Unfounded optimism. Belief that things will get better, despite all the evidence to the contrary. This is the way to stay sane in a terrorizing, traumatic environment. So if these things, I have 2 more, but if these things are resonating with you, then you are battered, and you are emotionally battered, if not hit in the face. Number 18, internalization of abusers' beliefs and excuses. I deserve this treatment. If only I was a better partner, this wouldn't happen. Number 19, the last barriers to leaving a domestic abuse situation. They begin to expect failure and lack the support of others. Trying every possible method to change something, but with no success, the victim begins to expect failure. Their experience tells them that no one, community or police, takes the fear concern seriously. They become more and more alone, unsupported, and isolated. I have to say, I believe in that one. That one is hitting home for me. Again, double marker. These things that they've listed for domestic facts and domestic signs, I think they tie very heavily into whatever else happens to you that makes you perhaps a victim to a narcissist or sociopath. These things are about you, and they are about me, and that's why we have so much yellow ink today. But I didn't know it. I just got this handout on Wednesday. I'm only learning now that I have been a codependent, and I didn't know it. I just thought I was a really nice person and did everything for everybody, and ultimately didn't take care of myself. So we're going to continue learning about the cycle of violence.